You know, with the NFL playoffs coming up this weekend, I've thought about talking about this. Um, it's kind of weird that you have all these teams that have some decent winning records, playoff eligible records, and yet they don't get in. Like Dallas, Arizona, and Chicago. Which is why I believe we should have not two, but four wild card games in each conferences. That's what I believe. We should have four wild card games. I really do. Now you might say, well, what's the purpose of four wild card games? It doesn't make sense. What makes sense about it is this. What sense it makes about this is this. You can either make them wild card games or you can make them divisional games. It doesn't matter. Divisional playoffs. Either do four wild cards or just take out the wild card and say we're going to go divisional. Because there's a lot of teams that deserve this opportunity. You know what I mean? They deserve this opportunity to be at that next level, or to be in that opportunity. Arizona, Dallas, Chicago are teams that should have gotten in. Same on the AFC. AFC had some teams as well. I mean, um, I mean, I understand the concept. It's like you gotta have two teams with byes and all that, and that's fine if you want to do that. But I think what would make it more intriguing is to do a wild card, to do four wild cards, or at least, to where basically you have all four teams. Basically you have four teams already from each conference in the wild card. But that way you would have it. But then that way, you could have two more. And here's what I mean. You could go with the concept you got still, but you can add on the additional wild cards. That's what I'm looking at. You could do that, or, like I said, you could go just divisional. The reason I say wild cards is at least you're giving the other teams a chance to play. You think, well, it's only six teams can get in. Yeah, but you can also do 8 if you want to. You could do 8 as well. So that's what I'm looking at. I think I think the NFL needs to change up the playoff concept a little bit to where at least you can give two extra teams a shot at getting in there and making it sort of like an eight team tournament, if you will. So that way, those that have have records that are more than worthy of putting them in the playoffs can at least get to that level. They can at least get to being in the playoffs. They can at least enjoy the opportunity to say, hey, we were in the playoffs. It's just the concept. I'm thinking, you have 4 and 6 and 5 and 3 against each other. So why couldn't you just have maybe 3 and 5, or 3 and 7, 4 and 8, and 5 and 6. Think about it that way. Think about it. You could have Arizona and Dallas against each other. The winner of that could face. Well, here's how I would. When you think about it, here's how you could really change it up too. You could let all the divisional winners have byes, and in that way you would have your top 4. Then you would have 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, you would have a top 12 deal. And people love the playoffs. So if you could expand it in some way to change the concept to where you could either do a 8-seeded team bracket or a 12-seeded team bracket, you know, that would work out. Or at least an 8-seeded one or something. Or do it to the point to where all the teams, playoff bound, have to play a wild card game. Even your team that's got the home advantage, they got to play a wild card game, or at least some kind of divisional playoff game to start the thing off. So that way, it gives everybody an opportunity. I mean, think about it this way. Look at it this way. Seattle's number 1. What do you think would benefit them more? To wait, because sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't, or at least have a team to play in the playoffs? I think having a team to play in the playoffs would benefit them because it would get them going, it would get them ready, it would get them prepared. And the way it seems to me, I think they would have benefited of facing someone like a Dallas or Philadelphia as the 8th seed. Carolina would have benefited with someone like, you know, as the 8th seed, and maybe Carolina the same thing with one of them facing the, someone in that 7th seed, and then you would have your East Division champion of Philadelphia, or if it would have been Dallas, but this time Philadelphia, they could have waited with somebody, or they could have faced somebody, like I said, 2 and 7. Let's say that could have been whoever, right? 3 and 5. Not 3 and 5, but the 3 seed could have faced the 6 seed, and the 4th seed could have faced the 5th. The 5th seed. You can see 1 and 8, 2 and 7, 4 and 6, 3 and 3 and 6, 4 and 5. It would have really. To me, that would have been probably the best. To me, that's probably the best concept, because that way your overall divisional winners who normally get the bye won't be so lazy. They won't. Well, not lazy. They won't be so, not out of it or not prepared. And I think doing that for the NFL playoffs would work, because you give 1 or 2 more teams an opportunity. You basically give 2 more teams that, like I said, have records that are worthy of putting them in the playoffs. You're at least giving them that opportunity to play in it. So, that's just my opinion, and maybe it would work, maybe it won't, but that's just me. I'm just saying, I'm just thinking outside the box, So, that's all I'm going to say on it, though. But I think it would work out better, because that way, at least more beneficially, it would work 2 ways. One, it would allow those, like say in Arizona or Dallas, who have playoff eligible records, to at least experience being in the playoffs. And maybe a team like Miami or whatever. As well as it would keep your divisional leaders, your conference leaders who get the byes and sort of home field advantage, keep them on their toes. So that way, they don't have to wait till about a week later, and all of a sudden they get probably tossed out of the playoffs. So. That's just my thoughts on it, and I think it would work out better for them. But that's just me. That's how I basically would restructure the NFL playoff system. And let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like. Let me know if you agree with that or not. And I will talk to you later. God bless. Take care. Have a nice first day of 2014.